So, you've been broken up with. You're adhering to the no contact rule, correct? And let's face it, it likely feels like the most excruciating thing you've ever faced. You're concentrating on your recovery, on restoring your stability, and determining what comes next. But here's a question you probably haven't thought about. What is the dumper truly experiencing during this period? We often concentrate so heavily on our own feelings following a breakup, yet the dumper is experiencing their own emotional upheaval. They navigate a spectrum of emotions, from relief and confusion to fear, regret, and eventually, a recognition they might not have expected. Now, I'm not stating this to evoke sympathy for them. Quite the contrary. In fact, I aim to demonstrate that comprehending their experience can be the key to reclaiming control of your own life and progressing with greater strength. Because when they comprehend what they've lost and why they're losing you permanently, they will encounter some realizations that may astonish you. Stay with me, because I'm about to guide you through the 7 stages the dumper experiences during no contact. And believe me, you don't want to overlook the final stage. The twist at the end will completely transform your perspective on breakups. Let's get started. 1. Stage 1. Relief and validation. Initially, there's this immediate surge of relief. Consider it. They've chosen to end the relationship, and at that moment, it seems like a burden has been removed from their shoulders. They think they've accomplished the difficult part. But here's the catch. Deep down, it's also their first genuine validation moment. They've demonstrated they can leave, and now the responsibility is theirs. Feels empowering, doesn't it? Or does it? Cue a brief sarcastic laugh. Most people assume this is the freedom phase, but there's a risk here. Because without you around, the solitude begins to invade swiftly, and the real emotions start to emerge. Stay tuned, because the next phase will illustrate how that initial relief transforms into something wholly different. 2. Stage 2. Doubt and second thoughts. This is where things take a turn, and it progresses quickly. After a few days of freedom, that persistent feeling begins to settle in. The texts decrease. The calls aren't coming through, and it dawns on them. Did I make the correct choice? They take to questioning their decision. What if I overreacted? They'll rehearse every disagreement, every moment of strain in the relationship. Trust me, this uncertainty isn't simple to dismiss. They'll ponder if they were too rash. But there's a twist. What they don't realize is, this is merely the beginning of their emotional roller coaster. But hold on, the next phase. That's where it truly becomes significant. 3. Stage 3. Nostalgia and longing. Stage 3 revolves around the what-ifs. The dumper begins to miss the small, close moments they experienced with you. They might start to romanticize the relationship, recalling solely the positive moments and overlooking the reasons that led to the breakup initially. This sense of nostalgia can function like a drug. However, here's the real twist. At this stage, they are beginning to sense the burden of their own choices. That is when no contact turns into your hidden advantage. It places them in a position of emotional turmoil. But here's the catch. It's only going to escalate from this point. 4. Stage 4. Panic and fear of loss. Now we are entering the panic phase. This is when they begin to experience genuine fear. Because with no contact fully implemented, they realize you are no longer accessible, either emotionally or physically. And that sensation, it hurts. A lot. They start to ponder, what if you have moved on? What if someone else enters your life and assumes the role they once occupied? They come to understand that they are losing control over the situation. The dread of losing you permanently begins to set in. But what follows next will astonish them. So keep observing, because the subsequent stage is when they either confront their demons or plummet into regret. 5. Stage 5. Regret and self-blame. Here is where they confront the repercussions of their choices directly. Regret begins to emerge, and they start to feel the burden of their actions. The breakup no longer feels so empowering. They start to accuse themselves for ending something that had significant potential. Perhaps they were too hasty. Perhaps they did not put in enough effort. This is a critical stage because it is when their pride starts to fracture. They realize they may have made a substantial error, but don't get too enthusiastic yet, because even when they reach this phase, they are still wrestling with one emotion that could alter everything. 6. Stage 6. The want for reconciliation. And now we arrive at the stage that you have been anticipating. The reconciliation phase. It's the moment when they will begin to contemplate whether or not to reach out. They will experience this urgent desire to mend things. But hold on, they are caught. Do they swallow their pride and acknowledge their mistake? Or do they allow their ego to dictate their actions? This is when matters become complicated. If they have been monitoring your social media, they might observe that you are thriving, which can spark another surge of fear and excitement within them. They have witnessed you move forward. But will they take the initiative to win you back, or will they remain on the sidelines and watch you flourish? 7. Stage 7. The final realization. And here we are. The final stage, the one that has the potential to shatter them completely. The ultimate realization strikes them. You are genuinely gone. There is no way to reverse this now. By remaining silent and adhering to no contact, you have demonstrated to them the worth of what they had, and they cannot unsee it. This is the ultimate emotional setback for them. The relationship is over, and the dream of what could have been becomes hauntingly vivid. Now they must live with the consequences of their choices, and if they did not act swiftly enough, they could lose you permanently. Now, I understand what you're considering. How can I convert all of this into something that serves me in the long term? While the person who ends the relationship is navigating their emotional storm, this is your chance to concentrate on yourself. It's not solely about recovery, it's about development. Breakups, although hurtful, provide a distinctive opportunity to re-establish your focus and cultivate the finest version of yourself. Whether it involves acquiring new skills, establishing bold objectives, or altering your perspective, you can emerge from this more resilient, knowledgeable, and driven than before. However, here's the catch. You can't just stop there. To genuinely elevate yourself in life, you must begin to think strategically. How will you utilize your time after the breakup to transform the future you desire into reality? One of the most effective methods to achieve that is by making wise financial choices. Want to discover how to have your money work for you? The secret lies in grasping the power of compounding. And that's precisely what I delve into in my upcoming video. You'll uncover how minor, regular investments can grow significantly over time, assisting you in attaining a financially liberated future. Therefore, don't squander this period. Convert this instance into a chance for progress and observe your future change. Go to my next video on the power of compounding. And believe me, the techniques I'll present might be the breakthrough you need. See you there, and let's continue developing that prosperous mindset together.